50 years ago, a single movie we failed to see in Shibuya. Who could have imagined that such a small carelessness would cross through time and connect two families? The plum grove in Okurayama, the hustle of Shibuya, the steam rising from Makodoku, and that girl's subtle iya gesture. It is a story of Inishi, a bond that connects Showa, Heisei, and Reiwa. Bittersweet, warm, and nostalgic. It was 1974. The scent of plums on the slopes of Okurayama quietly lit a fire in my heart. Back then, I was a student at the University of Tokyo, trying to act older than I was. There was a place that made my heart race more than the heavy textbooks on the Hongo campus, the gentle slope leading from Okurayama Station. At the top of that hill stood a white memorial hall, as elegant as a small parliament building. Surrounded by the fragrance of the plum grove at its feet, I walked with a girl. Her nickname was Junko Takigawa. With her soft cheeks and captivating eyes, she looked as if Sayuri Ishikawa had stepped right out of a shoujo manga. Innocent and somehow impossible to leave alone. Sensei, hello. Hearing her voice was like a sunbeam blooming in the depths of my heart. Perhaps it was because I knew she had just lost her father. Before I knew it, I wanted to go beyond being just a tutor and bring light back to her clouded heart. But I had a fiancé, Ritsuko, a student at a women's college in Gotanda. She was flawless. My future was supposed to be on a predetermined path. Then, one day, Junko's mother entrusted me with an envelope. Inside was 8,000 yen, my entire month's tuition. Please, take Junko to the movies with this, she said. Driven by her mother's gentle meddling and the expectant look in Junko's eyes, I invited her to see The Exorcist. We met at Motosumiyoshi Station. On the local train rattling toward Shibuya, Junko laughed innocently. I didn't realize that behind that smile, she was hiding a painful love for me. I only wished for this afternoon to last forever. We were supposed to see that masterpiece of horror at the Shibuya cinema, but I never imagined that fate was about to play an unexpected trick on us. Shibuya Station, 1975. The roar of the city hit me the moment I stepped off the train. Laughter, honking horns, and a line of people snaking around the cinema like a giant serpent. The Exorcist was a fever dream of the times. I'm sorry, Junko-san. The reserved seats are 4 hours away. Shall we have some tea? I took her to Lounge Tampopo on Miyamasuzaka, a place for adults. As we sank into the plush sofas, Junko, in her pale blue dress, looked as if she were trying to stand just a little taller for this day. Sensei, this place is wonderful. Her smile tightened my chest. I started talking about her father, hoping to ease her loneliness. But then my words were cut short. Large teardrops began to fall from her wide eyes. It wasn't just sadness for her father. It was a flood of emotions that a 17-year-old girl simply couldn't hold. As she sobbed, I could only stare at my teacup, my fingers trembling. Every time the face of Ritsuko waiting for me in Gotanda crossed my mind, Junko's purity stung my heart. It's time. Shall we go to the movie? I stood up, as if escaping. Junko wiped her tears and stood with a bittersweet, grown-up smile. But the tricks of fate were only just beginning. Finally, we reached our seats in the dark cinema. Junko leaned forward, not wanting to miss a single frame. But when the film started, it wasn't the terrifying music of a demon. It was a light, finger-snapping ragtime. On the screen was the dazzling smile of Robert Redford in The Sting. Sensei, this is The Sting, isn't it? Junko giggled. I felt my face burn with embarrassment. I'm so sorry, Junko-san, I whispered, feeling the weight of the 8,000 yen in my pocket money her mother had scraped together from a meager budget. But Junko just smiled like spring sunshine. It's okay. I don't dislike that side of you, sensei. I was desperate. I couldn't let the day end like this. We headed to the Goto Planetarium. Under the dome of stars, the deep cello of Saint-Saëns, the swan began to play. In the darkness, Junko kept trying to look my way. She touched my sleeve with her fingertips, her lips trembling, wanting to say something, but I pretended to listen to the stars, looking away from her courage. Later, at Shibuya Parko, she whispered playfully, "Look, that's Shusaku Endo over there." Her innocence only made my cowardly silence harder to bear. At a boutique, I saw a red scarf. Charlotte read, 3,000 yen, a huge stretch for a student like me. She looked at her reflection, then at me standing behind her. She slowly, very slowly, shook her head. Twice, thrice. "I don't want a present, I want you." That was the silent plea died in the setting sun of Shibuya, night at Dogenzaka. In the steam of Mapo Tofu, her iya gesture exploded in silence. With a slight furrow in her brow, she shook her head again, a silent cry from a 17-year-old heart. Don't go back to her. In that moment, I knew I had broken her heart. I could only look away. On my left hand, I felt the invisible chain of my future with Ritsuko. The distance between us at Noto Sumiyoshi Station that night would stretch across 50 years. The lights of Gotanda felt heavy with reality, and time, unfeeling, began to flow. The memories after leaving Manyokaikan remain only in fragments, like an old monochrome film with missing frames. Beyond the steam of the Mapo Tofu, I saw Junko's iya gesture. That small shake of her head was a silent cry. Don't go back to her. I pushed that plea deep into my heart and saw her to Noto Sumiyoshi Station. Sensei, thank you very much. She stood at the ticket gate, peering into my eyes, lingering. Finally, as if giving up, she shook her head 2 or 3 times with a lonely expression. It was the iya of youth, like a bitter lemon. Perhaps it was the last, helpless resistance of a high school senior against a destiny she couldn't fight. To me, it looked like a door quietly closing on my life. From the next day, I stopped visiting her house. I had plenty of excuses. Moot courts at the Faculty of Law, civil service exams, the mission to carry the nation. By immersing myself in these tasks, I tried to seal away the scent of lemons left in Noto Sumiyoshi. I preached justice in mock trials while turning a blind eye to the greatest injustice in my private life. I fled to Gotanda. Ritsuko was there, waiting for me. A predetermined future lined up in perfect order. "How was your day?" she asked with her usual gentle smile. I mistook the movie," I replied with a dry laugh. Her kindness felt like a heavy weight on my chest. Time flowed on. I cleared out my apartment in Okurayama and looked up at that white memorial hall one last time. The memo with Junko's contact information was lost in the move. I graduated, joined the Ministry of Finance, married Ritsuko as planned, and built a stable family that anyone would envy. Showa ended, Heisei passed, and Reiwa arrived. Chasing work, supported by family, I reached my 70th year. And yet, in quiet moments, I remember her profile as she shook her head behind the steam, her final resistance at the gate. Where is she now? What kind of smile does she wear? I told myself we were parallel lines that would never cross again. 50 years. On the hill of Okurayama, the gears of fate began to turn once more. The soft spring breeze brushed against Okurayama Station. I climbed that slope for the first time in ages, my 70-year-old body moving slowly. The scent of plums tickled my nose, and my chest tightened. In front of the white memorial hall, a woman was taking photos of the blossoms. The way she brushed her hair back, it was so familiar. When she turned around, my heart nearly stopped. Those dignified brows, the small wrinkle on her forehead when she smiled. Junko-san, the name escaped my lips. She looked at me with eyes full of nostalgia. "No," she said softly. "I am Junko Takigawa's daughter. May I call you Takeuchi-san? Or should I say, father?" I gasped. She told me her mother never married. She had raised her daughter with the surname Takeuchi. When I was a child, I asked why my name wasn't Takigawa like hers. My mother looked at me with a face as gentle as a plum blossom and said, "You carry the name of the person I loved most in the world. The person I am most proud of." I sat on a bench, my knees trembling. She showed me a photo on her camera, the plum grove I had walked with Junko 50 years ago. My mother passed away a few years ago, but until the very end, she loved this scenery. I think she was always walking this hill with you in her heart. As she left, she handed me a small old envelope. Inside was a monochrome photo of Junko I had taken in the bustle of Shibuya 50 years ago. On the back, in fading ink, were the words, "That day's sting was the best. Goodbye, my dear, lying sensei." I looked up at the sky, a reply that took 50 years to reach me. It was a love too deep, too single-minded for the word first love. The scent of plums brought back the wind of that day, gently stroking my cheek. Months have passed since that mysterious reunion in Okurayama. My grandson, Yasuo, was living his busy days as a freshman at Keio University's Hayoshi campus. In the music club room, amidst the sound of guitars, he was introduced to a new member, Marina Takeuchi, from the literature department. Yasuo couldn't believe his ears. The girl standing before him had the same dignified brows I had gazed upon 50 years ago. "My mother named me after the singer, Marina Takeuchi," she said with a smile. "But my real name is Marina Takigawa." She picked up a guitar and casually strummed the intro to Motorcar. In that instant, the gears of 50 years locked into place. Yasuo told her about the miracle of Okurayama he'd heard from me. Marina's eyes wavered. My grandmother, her name was Junko. Junko Takigawa. She never married, but she gave both my mother and me the surname Takeuchi. She told us, "This name is a treasure from the person I respected and loved most in my life." The girl standing there was the granddaughter of my Junko, the girl whose hand I let go of at Moto Sumiyoshi Station 50 years ago. Marina looked up at the sky. "Yasuo-kun, let's invite your grandfather to the plum grove this Sunday. Let's give him tickets to our show, in place of the stubs for The Exorcist and The Sting that they never got to see, at the Okurayama Plum Grove." The melody of Motorcar wrapped around the hill, and there, at the edge of the crowd, I found her, a girl in a pale blue dress, surrounded by an air of pure nostalgia. I approached her with trembling steps. "A beautiful song, isn't it?" I whispered. She smiled, that familiar wrinkle appearing on her forehead. "Yes, but it's strange. Listening to this, I feel like I'm in love with someone from a long time ago, someone I've never met." She told me she worked at a department store in Shibuya, but her heart had been stopped since she was 18, since the day she fell for her tutor. In her tearful eyes, I saw the iya-iya of the girl at the mapo tofu table, and the final resistance at the station gate. I took her cold hand in my old, wrinkled ones. Cry, I said, giving her the words I couldn't say 50 years ago. Cry for real. Pour your feelings into your tears. No makeup, no beautiful lie can match the truth of a tear. If you cry, the clock that has been stopped for 50 years will finally move. Free him and free yourself. Large tears overflowed from her eyes like a broken dam. A first love that had pierced through Showa, Heisei, and Reiwa finally touched the earth. I looked up at the cloudless blue sky. The second hand of regret began to tick with a steady heartbeat. When I looked back to where she had been, she was gone. Only a ticket for the Moto Sumiyoshi-bound train remained in the sun like a forgotten memory. The movie we couldn't see, the path we didn't choose. But if those thoughts can lead to a smile 50 years later, then life truly is a small miracle.